Welcome into another edition of The Session with Londa and David. My name is David Austin.
I'm Londa Sherwood Austin. Welcome back.
You really are spectacular at this program.
Well, thank you very much.
I get comments almost every day from listeners.
Lying.
Nope, true story. Who say, one today specifically said, what a blessing that you get to do this broadcasting thing you love with the person you love.
Aw,
I thought it was the sweetest thing I've ever heard.
you're lying. But that's
No,
okay.
that happened today. It did.
okay.
There's no joke there. That
All right.
absolutely happened today. And you look absolutely beautiful again.
Thank you
Is
very
that a
much.
linen sport coat that you're wearing?
You know what? I am embarrassed to say yes, it is.
Why is that embarrassing? It looks great.
Because linen isn't to be worn after Labor Day.
Oh, there you go. And we're no
And
longer...
here we are breaking the rules.
And we're officially no longer in summer. It's time for news. New Jersey Democratic Senator Robert Menendez is in a little hot water this morning. He's getting calls from his own party to step down after a 39-page indictment was unsealed Friday, alleging he and his wife accepted hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of bribes in exchange for willingness to use his political clout. Federal agents reportedly seized 10 envelopes of cash hidden in clothing, about $550,000 worth of cash, and gold bars when they searched his home. The senator said Monday he isn't going anywhere and he expects to be fully exonerated.
Did they check the freezer?
Well, that's funny that you say that because that has happened before. Millions of federal workers, including members of the military, will stop getting paychecks if a possible October 1st government shutdown isn't avoided. A shutdown would stop training for air traffic controllers in all states with a system that's reportedly understaffed and overworked. So if you thought air travel was bad, good luck with the government shutdown. It would not, however, impact Social Security payments and a few other protected programs. Congress and the White House would still be paid, but their staffers would be furloughed until a funding plan for the next fiscal year is reached, if not done by midnight on October 1st. As we said at the top of the show, summer has come and gone. The first day of autumn was ushered in on Saturday, the 23rd. The official end of summer didn't stop another named storm, though, from roaring up the East Coast over the weekend. Tropical storm Ophelia slow rolled over the eastern seaboard Saturday night, downing power lines with 70-mile-per-hour winds and causing widespread flooding. The storm was downgraded to a tropical depression a little over an hour after making landfall in Emerald Isle, North Carolina, and the full extent of the damage is actually lighter than what many predicted, and no deaths have been attributed to it as of press time. So that's good news. That's real good news. Here's some good news out of Tinseltown. You were a little critical of me last week because I didn't have much nice stuff to say. Some 4.5 months after first going on strike, the Writers Guild of America has agreed to a tentative deal with the Alliance of Motion Picture and Television Producers to return to work. The deal, made in principle, still requires ratification, but if all goes well, new television and film scripts will soon be forthcoming. Before you know it, there's only one speed bump. The Screen Actors Guild and American Federation of Television and Radio Artists strike is continuing. That didn't start until July, and they kind of fleshed out those SAG picket lines when the actors went on strike too.
Okay.
There you have it, and there it is. That's what's happening.
Oh, okay. Well, I don't really know what to say. I love the government shutdown while Congress and the White House would still be paid.
Staffers will be furloughed.
Of course, they'll still be paid. I know that when things get tough, I protect my paycheck.
That's exactly
you know what
right.
I mean?
That's exactly
I
right.
let service people go. I let contracts go, but I keep my stuff, right? So I guess it's the same thing.
Well, I guess. Aren't we all? Isn't all of government for the people, though? How do you have a government shutdown? It's happened several times. This isn't the first one. But I remember once when it happened and USDA loans couldn't close.
Yeah.
We had like 3 months of no USDA funding because of the budget conflict.
To me, it's pretty irresponsible to get to that point. It's kind of like, you know, all of a sudden panicking because Christmas is right around the corner. Let's say, assuming you celebrate Christmas.
Sure.
But, Christmas is right around the corner, and
whatever will we do?
Yeah, now I have to get all these Christmas presents and all this stuff, and it's such a financial burden, but it comes every year.
Yeah. Actually, the same date every year.
Yeah, it's not a surprise at all.
It's not a floating holiday.
Just like this, how does it even get to this point where they're like, oh, it might be a government shutdown? Can you help me understand that?
Well, the reason this kind of thing can happen is because we have a two-party system for all intents and purposes, and the Republicans aren't playing nice with the Democrats.
Aww.
And they haven't been for 6 years. So this is no surprise.
Or forever.
Well, yeah. That's true.
I mean, that's the whole gig, right?
Right. But now's a great time for some magical third-party candidate to come out of nowhere.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
Foreshadowing.
Especially with the polling that I saw over the weekend for the presidential candidates.
Go ahead.
Well, according to polls that I looked at, and I'm not going to name them because I was watching other media organizations reporting their polls.
Okay.
But something like 68% of the electorate is nervous about the health and well-being of our existing president because of his age. Meanwhile, Donald Trump looks unhealthy to me. Only 46% of the same people worry about his health and age. It's interesting, and they're not many years apart in age.
No, but one seems crazy and the other one seems lost. Much of the time.
One seems angry and the other seems like he lost his keys 4 years ago.
Yes. One just seems like you're, angry old man, which is kind of typical. Can we get him some testosterone that might help with his attitude?
And his cortisol around his midsection.
Right. He's clearly not getting enough sleep.
But 6'3" and 215, that's fit and trim.
There's no way. He's 6'3" and 215, like it's his Bumble profile. You know what I'm saying?
That's exactly right.
So, but the other one is like he lost his keys or someone needs to take them.
Yeah, he's your 80-something-year-old uncle that you no longer let drive to church. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Uncle Joe. I got you.
And then Trump is like, you're the mean grandpa that you kind of keep the kids away from because he says crazy stuff and doesn't make sense.
I happen to think he says crazy stuff and makes it sound like it makes sense. I don't know that it does make sense, but he makes it sound like it makes sense by repeating the same words over and over.
God,
like he'll see something in a room and he'll say, I saw 300 of these things. They were spectacular. All 300 were amazing. Right. You know what I mean?
Yes.
That's the kind of language he's using.
I'm just so over it.
There'll be so much winning. You won't know.
Right. Is there room, while we're on it, we might as well just go into this a little bit. Is that because you help us make sense of things sometimes? Is there room for, I'm going to just say it, come after me if you like, a legitimate candidate?
Yes.
A third party, maybe a third candidate. Is there really, can we make that happen, please?
Well,
and listen, I don't really care about too much of it, I'll be honest, but I really need somebody to come in and try to fix the economy because it's kind of a little bit in shambles right now.
Yeah, I listened to a speech last week that our current president made talking about how he fixed the economy. It was flatlining on its back, and he came in and what did he say? He gave it vaccine and got it back up and running. I don't know what he's referring to. I know interest rates are triple what they were as far as mortgages are concerned.
Sure.
And inflation, while we're reporting it's slowing down, it's still way, way up. Saying inflation's up 3%. If it were up 3% over 4 years ago, that'd be great. But it's up 3% over last year, which was up 12%.
Right.
So how good is it really?
It's not.
That's what
It's
I'm
not-
saying. That's
I
what
saw
I'm
something
saying.
today that said, I don't want to party like it's 1999, but I do want to grocery shop like it's 1999. And I thought that was really clever.
I think that's very clever.
Yes. So I
Yeah.
hate this economy. I need somebody to do something about it. I don't know what, because I don't understand these things, frankly. I really don't.
Right.
But I know that the two kind of leading candidates, at least what I see in, the media, including social media, these two leading candidates, to me, neither one are viable options.
Here's the problem with a third-party candidate. A third-party candidate almost guarantees Trump is reelected, and that's
How?
why the Democratic Party is trying to get RFK, Robert Kennedy Jr., to not run. Because if he, a lifelong Democrat, if he runs
Okay.
as a third-party candidate, every centrist, not leftist, but centrist Democrat is going to say, maybe he says some things that sound good. He's, for the environment, but he's definitely against vaccinations. Maybe he's the guy we should follow, and he sounds
Okay.
less crazy, and he's not an old guy, and he's super fit.
So they lose some of their
Well,
votes.
right
That's what you're
now,
saying?
Trump has about a 3-point lead over the current president in the polling. Well, if another guy comes in and gets 30% of the Democratic vote, then Trump's the president. You see what I mean?
Because
So
because a third party wouldn't get enough of the Republican vote.
it wouldn't get enough of Trump's supporters' vote.
Oh.
People who support Trump 4 indictments deep.
Well, yeah.
Grab them by the P deep. They're supporting this guy. You see what I'm saying?
True. It's true.
No one is in love with Joe Biden. He's got the worst approval ratings that he's ever had now. He's losing minority voters by leaps and bounds, double-digit losses from Hispanics, African Americans.
Wow.
I mean, double-digit losses.
Wow.
It's not good. It's not good. So if you have a third-party candidate, I think the vote may be split enough that Trump just waltzes right in. So that's Trump's hope, is that RFK will run as a third-party candidate.
Oh, I see.
Please run.
Okay. I gotcha.
It'll be huge. I don't do a good impression of him, but it's funny nonetheless.
Yes.
Yeah.
I see what you're saying. Yeah, I just need...
Where's the middle of the party? Either party.
I don't know. I don't know. I'm right here.
Either you're super, super, super left,
I'm sure not.
or you're super, super hate other people
No.
right.
Not.
Where's the center?
Right.
You know what I mean? A third party candidate, I'm telling you, it sounds attractive. It does. It
Yeah,
does.
yeah.
And
Okay.
if it's a libertarian, all they're talking about is legalizing weed federally. I
Yeah.
need more than that.
I think a libertarian can't really pull enough. They don't have the juice to pull it. I'll tell you. I'm going to sum up our entire political conversation by telling you exactly how I feel about it. Are you ready?
Yes.
Taylor Swift 2024.
Well, let me tell you something. Taylor Swift,
just
probably the most popular
Let's go.
human on the planet right now.
Absolutely.
Sports Center's play of the day Sunday was Taylor
Come
Swift
on.
being in the press box,
Yep.
not what was happening on the football field. Them leaving the place together in a convertible, more important a story than the Chiefs win.
Yeah.
That's shocking to me.
And Swifties, we went deep on it, right? He was wearing the 1989 paint outfit.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
she went hard on the Easter eggs even with him.
Now-
He did the pullback arrow thing that she does during her performance. There was a lot of maybe this is a good match because they seem, kind of, I don't know, but here's what I do know. I saw a meme this morning that I loved. And it was a picture of Taylor Swift next to Mama Kelsey,
Right.
in the box, up there. And it said, when you find out when you find out the buyer's mom is actually the decision maker.
That's good stuff.
And it was, one of the like broke agents, I think was the handle of the Instagram account that shared that or something. I don't remember, but hilarious.
Do you know what my fantasy is? This is my fantasy about this whole situation.
Okay, easy.
Are you
because
ready?
yes, I do. But what are you talking
Here's
about?
my fantasy. They're not dating at all, and this is a PR stunt.
I actually thought of that too. I 100%
that would
thought
be
of
the
that.
greatest use of free media ever.
Actually, the greatest use of free media ever has been her release of 1989 Taylor's version and the like teasing of Reputation Taylor's version, because what she did is she did this big like Google search game.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was brilliant because now she has fully buried all of the bad press from the first release of 1989 because so many millions of people were doing these Google searches. And so, if you now Google search Taylor Swift slut, previously what would come up is the old stories about when she released 1989 and this really bad press. Well, now her own song will come up that addresses that. So
because she has a song called Slut.
No, she doesn't have a.
I don't know.
I
don't
have
know.
the time for me to explain to you all of the intricacies.
All I'm saying about me thinking this could be a great PR stunt is Usher was announced as the Super Bowl halftime show, and everybody's only talking about Taylor Swift.
No one cares about Usher.
They do care about Usher.
No, they don't.
They do.
Nobody.
But all they're talking about is Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce.
That's right.
I mean, I don't get it.
Yeah.
Usher.
Yeah. So he's doing the Super Bowl. Who cares?
I do.
Oh,
That's
I
going to be
don't.
awesome. I wonder which guests he'll have on there. If he's smart, he'd have Taylor Swift come out.
Well, yeah.
That'd be smart.
Oh my God. If the Chiefs go to the. Stop. I can't. I'll die. I'll die 1,000 deaths. Somebody asked me today, they said, I'm surprised that you, being such a big fan of hers, didn't go to, the Eras Tour concert. And then I had to be really authentic and vulnerable and explain that my anxiety could never in a million years go to a venue where there's that many people, that much sound,
right,
and all the lights, and I can't get out quickly.
I gotcha.
Enough for my comfort, right? So my anxiety could never. So I was talking about, a little social anxiety, but also with the claustrophobia and also the whole panicking about being trapped, and it's just not good for me.
Although you made it right through a New Orleans Saints versus Seahawks game last year in the New Orleans Superdome.
I did, and I
couldn't believe you made it, frankly.
It took a lot of every tool I have in my toolbox,
Right,
to make it through that. So yeah, those are uncomfortable events for me. I'm getting better than I was.
Sure.
But that's just the reality of life, right? We've all got stuff.
I saw my favorite political commercial this morning while watching one of the national news shows. You know what it was?
No.
A TikTok commercial. A commercial on national television for TikTok. Have you seen it? It's a little old guy, and he's in a TikTok video that his niece made of him, and he's talking about how his scooter is broken down and he can't afford to fix it. And that started a charity.
Yeah.
What a cool deal.
Are you getting a little emotional?
A little.
Okay.
A little. What a cool deal, though.
Yes.
And I think it said something like, TikTok does good. And that's the slogan.
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
I mean, it's amazing. I've been very vocal about my love of TikTok, and
Right.
I know some people think it's controversial. Go ahead, think it's controversial. I literally use it like Google now. I search for stuff all the time on there. And if you, that's probably, I don't post a ton, but when I do, it's often the place where I'm kind of the most vulnerable, because I just think, well, not very many people follow me, so I'll just say whatever I want to say.
Sure.
For example, right now, people are coming along with me on my journey of, removing the sunspots from my face and hands.
I've been watching those, and they're pretty good, and you look a lot better.
These are pretty angry. The
yeah,
ones
but
on the back of my
you definitely
hands.
look a lot better in the face.
Yeah, for those of you watching, there you can kind of see what's going on there.
Mm-hmm.
And if you want to know the full story of that, you can go follow my TikTok. It's Londa Sherwood Austin. So yeah.
TikTok does good.
I think TikTok's great, and I've learned a ton from it. And, I don't get why people get up in arms about it, honestly. Like, oh, well, they've got your information. Who doesn't?
Right.
Who doesn't? Everybody has my information. Everything's digital. My information's everywhere. If you want to, steal my stuff, you can. It's pretty easy.
The only people who haven't figured out how to use the internet to collect money well are landlords.
Oh my gosh.
And movie theaters, because movie theaters still think it's convenient for the buyer to buy the tickets on their phones.
Their convenience fee.
It ain't convenient for us people. It's convenient for you, because you don't need some kid named Devin to sit there with his braces collecting money so you can go see your favorite film. Because now you just got to show your phone to a reader and you're in.
Right, exactly.
I think it's super. You want to go see A Haunting in Venice?
We actually did see that this weekend.
We did, and it was great.
Yes.
I loved it.
Give us your review.
Well, it's the third in a series of Agatha Christie stories turned into films. There was Murder on the Nile, there was Death on the Nile, Murder on the Orient Express, and now A Haunting in Venice. Ooh. For me, hands down, far and away, A Haunting in Venice is the best of the three movies. Here's why.
Okay.
Modern horror films have a very specific style. It's exciting. Kids love it. This movie had that, but wasn't a horror film. I mean, it was the first one that, in my opinion, was a whodunit that transcended the genre.
I see.
Because it mixed in what we thought was supernatural devices. And I thought that was a cool deal. And it mixed in, it's from her, one of her novels, right? One of her stories, of Hercule Poirot, Hercule Poirot. And he solves a crime,
right,
like he does in every one of the movies.
Right.
This one was my favorite. It was,
Beth Dutton.
Yeah, it was Beth Dutton. That's exactly right.
I don't know the actress's name.
The girl who plays Beth Dutton on Yellowstone, who's coming along very well in her career.
Yeah.
Michelle Yeoh, who won
fantastic.
Best Supporting Actor or Best Actress last year at the Oscars.
Yeah.
I think she's going to get Best Supporting for this, even though her screen time is short. I've seen shorter win. Yeah. I think she was spectacular in the movie.
The only thing that I would say is that I did lose probably a good 20 minutes in the middle of the movie.
Yeah, you did.
Because you're warm and soft.
Right.
And those chairs are connected. And so I laid my little head on your shoulder and out.
Right. Until my hip started hitting the thing and my seat started moving. I twisted wrong and my hip brushed the little deal.
Yeah, it was disruptive to say the least. Yeah. But I was having a nice little nap until then. So I did lose a little chunk in the middle. But I would say I would call it kind of a horror movie.
Well, that's because you missed that chunk in the middle.
If you're sensitive to scary, you might want to skip this.
Except it's not a scary movie. It seems
was a scary movie.
But the resolution that you slept right through.
No, I didn't sleep through the resolution.
It takes all the scary away for me.
No, I didn't miss anything. I fell asleep I didn't even fall asleep for 20 minutes.
Okay, I got you.
I fall asleep and then jostle awake and fall asleep and jostle awake. I don't really think I missed much of the movie.
I think you did. The dialogue was very pitch perfect. The music was spectacular. There were nuances that if you're dozing off, you don't get.
We come from opposite ends of this perspective because you love horror movies. I hate them.
I don't love horror movies.
And so I would say that for me, it got a little intense. And I actually think that might be why went to sleep because I was a little overstimulated. And by the way, just so you know the extent of how easily overstimulated I am, I wear earplugs at the movie theater.
That's true, you do.
Every single time because it's too loud. It's too loud for me. Can they turn it down?
Meanwhile, I love it. No, thank you. I love it. Caitlin, our daughter, was there. Yes. It was awesome. I was happier than I've been at the movies in quite a while because there we were together.
Yeah.
Happy.
Normally you're just there with me.
Oh, stop.
Wah, wah. No, I did it.
That is one of these buttons.
It is, but I don't. There you go. That's it. But instead, Caitlin was there with you.
No, we were there together. The three of us were there together, and it was my two favorite ladies in one place. It was awesome. So I loved it. And the thing that I'm excited about seeing is the new Color Purple reimagining.
They showed the preview, and we both got very emotional.
Yes.
It was breathtaking.
Yeah. Really, really exciting. Steven Spielberg, produced by Oprah Winfrey. I mean, come on.
Absolutely breathtaking. And I can't wait to see it. Yeah. I already know it's going to be so incredibly emotional.
Fantasia Barone is the lead.
Let's go.
I'm
think
excited
that's fun.
about it. Yeah.
I think that's
And the kids they cast. I mean, how'd they do it? They look just like the people.
Yeah,
the kids, it's like they might have done some computer stuff to make their faces the same.
Well, and they might have, but I think they casting directors try a little harder now. You remember back in the day when we were kids, they didn't try very hard,
right?
You know,
yeah.
And so I think that's kind of cool.
It looks spectacular.
Yeah,
and I can't wait.
Yeah, and I would encourage you to go back to the movies if you haven't been for a long time, because now we're all used to kind of staying at home in the comfort of your own home and doing your own thing. And it is great to do that, but there is something kind of magical about going to the movies.
Well, and that Dolby Atmos sound that sounds like it's raining and it's all around you. I can't stop loving that.
And I hate it, but I wear my earplugs. Because it's all around me and I can't get away. It's a weird thing.
So in this movie, A Haunting in Venice, there's this kid voice singing. It's like a haunted voice that Hercule Poirot is hearing. And it's off in the distance, right? I swear I thought it was Caitlin next to me singing. Mm-hmm. It was so crazy.
It was creepy.
It was coming from every different direction.
So again, a haunted voice singing in.
Well, yeah. The haunted movie tropes were there.
Yeah.
However, it's a PG-13, so it can't be that bad. It's not it's not like a horror movie. It's got similar feeling and similar tempo.
I would agree.
It's a thriller and it's great.
Enough of that. Let's talk about the really important thing that happened this weekend.
Okay.
The vital thing that happened this weekend. Our granddaughter Hayden turned 2.
That's exactly right. That was a fun party.
And she had a birthday party, and we got to go, and it was awesome.
And I got to take her on the carousel and 2 of the other grand boys on the carousel.
Yes.
That was fun.
That was really fun. And they're starting to, we've got these 2 older grand boys who are 10 and 8. And then there's a big gap.
Right.
And then you've got all these little ones. A million little ones, right? The oldest of which are 3. So 2 of the grand boys are 3 years old, and they are wild.
Rambunctious.
I mean, wild little, exactly what you want them to be.
Except super well behaved with their grandpa David.
They're well behaved with me too. I mean, they awesome. Listen really well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No problem. People were talking about when I took them on the carousel, do you think David needs help? No, I don't need help because they're well behaved.
Okay, again, just as a reminder, we were talking about that because we weren't sure if the carousel had a rule that each kid under a certain age had to have an adult with them, and nobody knew that Caitlin went with you.
I got you.
We didn't see her walk out behind you.
Right. I took a group of kids on because my kid, who's 25, was on too.
Yes.
And she did help out. That was nice.
She did. But it was really fun. Big thank you to her parents, James and Sierra. We had a great time. It was
Hayden's
so
parents.
Sweet.
James and Sierra, not Caitlin's.
Yeah, no.
We're her parents.
Yeah, the baby who turned
Right.
2. I did see, though, I sent Sierra a TikTok because I saw a princess party, and the kids must have been probably 3 years old, and they were having this princess party, and there's the castle, and they're all in these princess dresses, and they had little swords and shields. It was so cute. And then there was a dragon attack.
Oh, that's cool.
So it was somebody dressed up in, those crazy dinosaur unicorn costumes that are like blow up or whatever.
Yep.
But it was a dragon with like fire coming out of its mouth, and it came up like it was attacking the castle. And then all these little girls like chased it down and knocked it down and started, beating it with their swords. They was all cardboard, so they didn't get hurt or anything.
So Dad didn't get hurt dressed as the
Hilarious.
the dragon.
Hilarious. I sent it to Sierra for next year's birthday. I was like, this.
I'm not going to be the dragon.
No, her dad can do it.
All right.
James would totally be down for that.
Yeah. I'd get poked in the eye. That'd
It
be
was
for me.
adorable, though. It was adorable. I loved it. And
That's
very,
awesome.
kind of girl power kind of thing,
Yeah.
They defended themselves from the castle, from the dragon.
I think that's great.
Yeah, it was super fun. So that was kind of a recap of our weekend. But what else do you want to talk about today?
That's it for me. We talked about the U.S. Senator with the bribery. We talked about...
To me, that's nuts. And I do think they should check the freezer because my grandpa used to keep socks full of money in the freezer under the meat.
U.S. Senator William Jefferson, formerly of Louisiana, who's now in federal prison for taking bribes from an African dictator, had it in his freezer as well.
What?
That's right. Had it in his freezer. In Washington, they went into his Washington place. The cool thing about this Menendez story is about 20 grand of the money.
Is it Menendez or Mendez?
It's Menendez. About 20 grand of the money was given to his wife because their house was in foreclosure. It's not now. That's one of the allegations. It's crazy.
I've heard there's a fine line between criminal and politician.
He was unemployed and in the Senate making whatever the Senate salary is, 80-something thousand, whatever it is. I don't know what it is. It was 80-something thousand years ago. It's probably way more than that now.
Yeah.
And
you're quoting the 30-year-old salary
that I remember when I was a reporter full time. Yeah. So to have $550,000 worth of assets out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Pretty impressive. So either he's a shrewd businessman who will be exonerated, who has a thing for gold bullion, or they are in fact bribes and bad news bears. 39-page indictment.
Wow.
Yeah, that was an interesting story to me this week. I'm glad the tropical storm story about Ophelia. Is it Ophelia? I don't have it pulled up anymore.
I don't know.
Not that bad of a deal. It was Ophelia because I was going to make a joke about Ophelia coming. Anyway, coming at me, the storm coming at me. Don't make faces at me like that.
Okay.
Get your mind out of the gutter.
That went off in the weeds. No surprise. But I want to leave you with this. I want to encourage you to ask people that you have relationships with, when you have success in your work, what does that mean for you and your family? I asked someone that this morning.
Okay.
And I just kept asking questions, right? So, let's just do it now. For you, when you have success in your work, your job, what does that mean for you and for your family?
Well, that's interesting. When I feel I'm having success in my work, I feel like people are happy with the results that I've brought to their lives. That to me is success.
Okay.
It has nothing to do with money. However, when you have that type of success, it often is accompanied by money. And that's great for your family because money solves problems. Money makes things easier in life. It doesn't buy happiness.
No, but it does buy you choices.
That's exactly right. So for me, success is measured in people's valuing my efforts. If I feel like my efforts are being valued, I feel successful.
Right.
And that often comes with money.
Beautiful. This person said, I just always have wanted to be, it was a realtor. I've always wanted to be a real estate agent. And And in fact, years and years ago, I filled out this paperwork. They talked about what you want to do, and she had written real estate agent, and she took a picture of it and showed it to me, this picture in her phone. And it was from years and years and years, 13 years ago, I think she said, and she's relatively new to the industry now. And when I said, what does this success mean for you? And she said, well, right now for my kids, it means they're sacrificing a lot. They're sacrificing a lot of time with me, and a lot of freedom of schedule, because, I'm working a lot and I'm building this thing. She said, but in the future, it will mean, more downtime and relaxed time for my husband, who works really hard and has worked really hard, physical labor kind of job. And so I'm hoping to, her words, be his sugar mama.
I like that.
And then I said, so for your kids, what does this mean in their future? They're sacrificing now, but for what? And she said, they can go to college, something I never had the option to do.
I gotcha.
And I can pay for that. And when they're, stressed out in life, I can say, hey, go have a spa day on me. Things like that, just treating her family and doing that. And I was so, I don't know, not inspired, I just felt so warm and fuzzy.
I gotcha.
Listening to her talk about how success in her work will affect her family, will affect her life, will affect other people's life. You know what I mean? So, So I think this is the kind of question people don't ask other people.
Sure.
And we should, because such interesting answers, even from you. And I know you and live with you and work with you, but I still learned something about you.
Really?
Listening to you.
With my answer?
Yeah, listening to you talk about that. It reminds me again that you prioritize relationships above everything else.
That's exactly right. Mm-hmm. Yeah, money is a lovely byproduct of successful relationships in my business.
Oh.
You know what I mean?
That's a great statement.
Yeah.
There you have it.
There you have it, and there it is. I got to tell you, I look forward to our Monday sessions where we sit down and talk about the world and our lives and the lives of our viewers and listeners. I think it's a super fun thing.
Me too. I love it. We're keeping it current.
I like it. Keeping it current. Here's the thing. We talk about how this show has evolved over the 2 years that we've been doing this particular broadcast, the session with Londa and David. And it went from a show with very little structure and no rules to a program that mirrors national talk programming. I think it's cool.
Yeah.
I think it's cool.
It's just us.
There you go. I like it. For Londa Joanne Sherwood Austin, my name is David Austin, and this has been another edition of The Session with Londa and David, and we'll be back here again next week to do it all over again. We'll talk to you soon.